Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's Roznama. And let us quickly begin. All right. Now, a very small pointer has been highlighted yesterday also, day before yesterday also. This has been brought into news only because the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, is visiting India, and he's visiting India for the AI Impact Summit, which was last year co-hosted by France as well as India in Paris. This year we are hosting it, and he's here for this particular meet. And also, because he's here, India is also going to hold bilateral talks with him. And then naturally, in these bilateral talks, the negotiations for Rafale will be brought in, and also Boeing P-81 81s were also in news. Okay, so the Indian Air Force has flagged that they need another batch of 114 Rafale aircrafts for the Indian Air Force. All right, we've already undertaken the Rafale deal with France, and as of now we have around 36 Rafales which are inducted in the Indian Air Force, and now the Indian Air Force is asking for another batch of 114 which we will undertake with France. And because of this massive defense deal in terms of Rafale imports, as per CIPRI yearbook data, as per CIPRI records, which seeks to give in data with respect to the weapons and armament inventories of each and every country, the CIPRI report has highlighted that France has become India's second largest defense importer country. Okay, so France is India's second largest defense importer country. Okay. All right. Then also we have talks about Boeing P-81s. Boeing P-81s is manufactured in USA, and we are undertaking this through US. Okay. So go through this article. Keep the countries and the defense equipments in mind. The same piece of news in the Hindu. The next one that I want to flag is that yesterday, 12th of February, elections were to be held in Bangladesh, and there were two major parties. One was BNP, which was Bangladesh Nationalist Party, which was fighting the elections alone, and on the other side we had a coalition government of around 11 parties, which was majorly led by Jamaat-e-Islami. All right, so Jamaat-e-Islami and Bangladesh Nationalist Party, they are the two major contenders in Bangladesh politics, and today the election results have been declared, and Bangladesh Nationalist Party has been declared as the winner of the Bangladesh elections. All right. Now, when the elections were announced, the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus, he did make this statement that whosoever wins the election, power would be transferred or handed over to that particular party only. Okay. And BNP is a party which is, which has a more forward-looking approach, which is not at all conservative in their outlook and in their nature. And there is a probability now that our relations with Bangladesh are going to be better. Okay, because BNP actually runs along the same lines as that of Sheikh Hasina, and they do have warm, comforting attitude towards India. All right, so do keep this piece of news also in mind. Okay, now again we have referendum here. In yesterday's Roznama daily questions, I had given referendum as a meaning also. So referendum is an instrument of direct democracy. What do you understand by direct democracy? Direct democracy simply implies a type of democracy where citizens are directly involved in decision making. Okay, so referendum has always been a crucial part of Bangladesh politics after Bangladesh gained independence in 1971, and Bangladesh has on and off opened up policies, programs, amendments, changes, etc. to the public for a vote. So when any policy, law, program, etc. is opened up to the public to give a say on it, yes or no, that particular process is known as referendum. All right. What is this referendum entailing as of now? As of now, the referendum entails the July Charter. Okay. Now, these two words are very, very important. Do keep them in mind. One is the July Charter and the other is the July Revolution. Okay. Now, the July Revolution is all the political upheaval that took place in July last year of 2025. So, the revolution which actually resulted in the protest, which actually resulted in the ousting of the then Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in July 2025 by the Gen Z population is known as July Revolution, and it is on the name of July Revolution only that Bangladesh has designed a July Charter. This July Charter seeks to amend certain provisions of the Bangladesh governmental structure. Okay, so it is on the seeks to bring certain amendments, seeks to reduce the powers of the Bangladesh Prime Minister, that is the executive, etc. And it is on this referendum that the government is seeking on this July Charter that the government is seeking a referendum. Okay. Then the article also tells us previous instances when referendums have undertaken. So in 2011, they had a referendum in 1997, 1977, 1985, and in 1991. All right. So they've had around 2 to 3 referendums. So do go through this article. It's an important one. It's a continuation of the previous article. Here also another piece of news which states till yesterday that the Bangladesh Nationalist Party was the party which had a significant edge over Jamaat-e-Islami, and today's results declare Bangladesh National Party as the winner of the election. Okay, so this is also a continuation of the same provision that they seek to undertake referendum on the July Charter, and the polling has ended, and this is the first election after the post-Hasina government that is being undertaken in Bangladesh. Now, Sheikh Hasina's party was Awami League, and in these elections, Awami League has been banned from contesting elections, and a large number of politicians who belonged to the Awami League have also been not permitted to participate in the elections. Okay. All right. Then another article, just keep this in mind, that now the Prime Minister's new office, that is PMO, is going to be inaugurated today, and it is here in the old one that in South Block, where today will be the last meeting that will be held, that will take place, and from tomorrow the entire cabinet, secretariat, national security council, everything regarding the parliament, etc., everybody is going to move to this new block, and this new block complex is known as Seva Tirth. Okay, so do keep in mind the name Seva Tirth complex. This is the new one. Okay, presently the parliament was in the South Block. Okay, so today the South Block, and South Block is the same block which which was the place where the British held its proceedings, and then after independence the Indian government took it over. So that is the South Block, and now the office has been shifted to the Prime Minister's complex, Prime Minister Office complex, or PMO complex, which is named as Seva Tirth. Okay, so do keep it in mind. And also we also got the Kartavya Bhavan. Okay, so the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday will formally inaugurate the new Prime Minister's office and central secretariat buildings and Kartavya Bhavan 1 and 2. Okay, so during the budget session also, it was in news that the budget was presented in the Kartavya Bhavan. It was the first budget to be presented in the Kartavya Bhavan. All right, so these South blocks and everything that was handed over to us by the British in 1947, and this was all designed by Herbert Baker. Okay, so do keep his name in mind, Herbert Baker, who has been the designer of the entire capital region in Delhi, and along with him we also have the name of Edward Lutyens. Okay, so keep his name also in mind, Edward Lutyens and Herbert Baker. Okay, Kartavya Bhavan 1 and 2 and Seva Tirth complex. Okay. All right. Okay, then a very important piece of news. For the past 2-3 days, we have been doing and learning about that the opposition parties, they have moved the motion in the parliament, a resolution to remove the speaker of the Lok Sabha, saying that the speaker is partisan in nature. The speaker is not non-partisan or is not a neutral individual. Okay, now something, and this particular motion was naturally undertaken by the opposition party, the opposition bloc, that is the India bloc, and the leader of the opposition is Rahul Gandhi. All right. So Nishikant Dubey, he is a private minister in the Lok Sabha. He has issued a substantive motion. He's brought in a substantive motion to substantive motion against Rahul Gandhi, seeking his suspension from the Lok Sabha, cancelling his candidature in the Lok Sabha, and also barring him to participate in future elections as well for life. Okay. Now, what is a substantive motion? A substantive motion is an instrument of the parliament which can be moved by ministers, members of the parliament, members of the Lok Sabha in this case, which can be moved by members of the Lok Sabha, members of the Raj Sabha, members of the parliament, to draw attention to a particular topic of significant importance of all the members of the house. Okay, so substantive motion is mostly generally picked up in an instance where something has been ignored by the members of the parliament. So this particular member, he seeks to draw attention of everybody to this particular topic which he feels is of significance, importance, and then naturally there is debate and certain processes, procedures, laws, policies, whatever the demand may be, is undertaken on that particular initiative. Okay, or on that particular topic on which a substantive motion has been moved. Okay, so do go through it. It's an important one. All right. Now, this article is a very wonderful piece of article that actually draws our attention to the present political upheavals that are happening in the country, specifically in terms of the parliament. Okay. So, Neerja Chaudhary, she writes wonderfully, and her articles are very, nicely put together. So, she has drawn a contrast from Sushma Swaraj's tenure as leader of opposition. Okay, so back in 2014, I believe, yes, 2014, when Sushma Swaraj was elected as the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. So naturally, when in a parliamentary form of government, one particular government who's in majority forms the government and the other forms the opposition. Okay, and the basic purpose of this opposition government is that the opposition is supposed to provide detailed insights into the policies, programs, etc. that the majority government is running, and then maybe to suggest reforms, criticize it so that the present government can bring in reforms in that. All right, but in spite of all of this, you are only opponents in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, but you are not enemies in real life. Okay, so she's drawn a contrast as to when Sushma Swaraj was the leader of opposition. So, she was so welcoming and she was so appreciative of members who were in the opposite parties. For example, like she thanked Sonia Gandhi for her mediatory roles. She appreciated Manmohan Singh for his gentleness. Speaker Meera Kumar for her tolerance, L.K. Advani's Nyay Priyata. So people who were in the opposition also were respectful towards each other. But if we look at the present scenario where she has drawn this contrast wonderfully, that in the present days, the leader of opposition or the opposition members have to fill in or file a removal resolution for the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, claiming that the speaker is naturally not fulfilling the duties of his office by taking the side of one particular party, where the speaker, as per the provisions of the constitution, has to be a neutral individual. He has to show tolerance, he has to show compassion, he has to maintain law and order, decorum in the house. Where here, when this motion of thanks was actually put to debate in the parliament, the speaker himself, he's accepted the factor that he had asked the prime minister to specifically stay out of the proceedings because he might be attacked in the Lok Sabha, bombarded in the Lok Sabha with a large number of questions. Okay, so this was what is actually, pretty cumbersome in the sense that you can't be doing this as a speaker. It is your duty to ensure that the rights of each and every member of the Lok Sabha is met. Whether that right is engaging in debates, asking questions, criticizing the government policies, that is what the members of the Lok Sabha are meant to do for the welfare of the entire country at large. Okay, so this is what she's trying to portray to this particular article. Wonderful one. Do go through it. Okay, then yes, another important thing, do keep in mind the provision of simultaneous elections. Okay, now the government had moved that we must undertake simultaneous elections in the country, through which they proposed a bill of one nation, one election. Okay, and it was looked into and finally recommended by a committee. This one nation, one election committee was headed by our former president Ramnath Kovind. Okay, and Ramnath Kovind suggested, the committee suggested that it is absolutely fine and good for the country to undertake simultaneous elections. Achha, the purpose or the meaning of simultaneous elections simply implies that the elections to the central government as well as the state governments would be done together. Okay, for example, as of today, when we see, I'll give you the example of UP. UP is set to undertake its legislative elections, legislative assembly elections next year in 2027. The next Lok Sabha elections are in 2029. Okay, now in such circumstances, UP presently has a BJP government, the center also has a BJP government. Whenever elections in any state is under process, the politicians, they undertake political campaigning. Now, during this political campaigning, you must have seen innumerable instances where the prime minister, as the major spokesperson of BJP, he, leaves Delhi, goes to these different places where political campaigns are being undertaken, and he gives speeches, rallies for his parties, so that people, get influenced and vote for his particular party, which is absolutely permissible in India. But the problem here is that there are, every year some of the other state is undertaking elections in the country. Now, whenever we are undertaking elections, so elections mein problem kya hoti hai? That you need money. So there is expenditure. Okay, one problem is expenditure. The second is the politicians, in order to get more votes, they keep on promising a lot of things, which results in a lot of freebies given away. Then next important thing that you must keep in mind, that when the prime minister or any other leader, minister for that matter, is going for some other state, to some other place for political campaigning, then for that particular time, maybe he's not looking into the duties of his office. So administration and governance, it suffers. All right, so to do away with such things, a proposal for one nation, one election was put forth, which was agreed to. And the purpose is simply that the elections at the central level and in the state governments must be aligned with each other to save the country from all of these problems. Okay, then naturally there were apprehensions specifically from the opposition party, and the case was sent to the Supreme Court, where as of now the Chief Justice of India, B.R. Gavai, he stated that we can absolutely undertake one nation, one election or simultaneous elections in the country, and it does not go against the provisions of the basic, idea of the basic structure of the constitution. Because again, since under the 1973 Keshwanand Bharti case, it was stated that we can do anything in the country, bring about any change, bring about any policy, law, etc. And it is absolutely fine to implement them, so long they do not take away the basic structure of the constitution. Okay, so the Chief Justice of India said that this process of undertaking simultaneous elections nowhere hinders the basic structure of the constitution. Also, there are certain articles that you must keep in mind with respect to them. Articles 82, Article 172. Article 82 calls for a provision, sorry, not 82, Article 83 provides for the duration of the Lok Sabha. Article 172, duration of the Legislative Assembly. Another article that you must keep in mind is Article 327. Article 327 fall under the group of articles from Article 324 to 329, which are associated with the Election Commission of India. Article 325 empowers the Parliament to make laws, policies, programs with respect to elections in the states as well. Okay. So this simultaneous elections seeks to bring about amendments to these articles. Okay. This is something that you must keep in mind. Quickly moving to the next one. Again, this was from the Indian Express. This is from the Hindu, whichever newspaper you read, do go through it. Okay. So, B.R. Gavai told the Parliament's Joint Committee reviewing the Constitution's 129th Amendment Bill. Okay. Do remember it is 129th Constitution Amendment Bill, which is provided for under Article 368 of the Constitution. This 129th Amendment Bill calls for simultaneous elections in the country. Okay. And you can go through the article. All right. Then next important piece of news today, that the central government has issued guidelines for revision, has undertaken revision of the consumer price index data series and has given new retail inflation. All right. Now, there are certain terms that you must keep in mind here. One is consumer price index. Then we have the term inflation that you have to keep in mind its meaning, and also the term headline inflation, because you'll see it in one of the news pieces. Okay, we do have a thing called headline inflation as well. Okay, okay. So, the government has said that the government has consumer price index is it seeks to measure the average change over time in prices that is paid by the consumer, okay, for whatever particular goods, etc. All right. So consumer price index is the average change in prices of goods that a consumer pays over a particular period of time. Inflation क्या है? Inflation is the consistent rise in prices over a particular period of time. All right. Headline inflation क्या है? Headline inflation is the most volatile inflation, which seeks to measure fluctuating changes in prices, specifically for the necessary commodities of life, that is goods, services, etc., food, etc. All right. So now a new CPI series has been included, which now changes the base rate, which was earlier, base year, which was earlier 2011 to now 2012 to now as 2024. Okay, so now onwards, whatever inflation, retail inflation, retail inflation in terms of the consumer price index will be measured along the baseline of 2024. Okay, and it has also increased the number of goods that are covered. All right, so the total number of items covered under the new series have increased to 358. Okay, so do go through the article. It is an important one. All right. Another is that one thing here, that Ministry of External Affairs refuses to deny claims on Russian imports, that after the US officials said that India had cut import of Russian oil and US wanted India to, the Minister has once again refused to deny the claim. All right. And another thing, that 2 days back, Russia has also said that Russia really hopes that all this trade deal, everything with the USA does not affect Russia and India ties. All right. Achha. Another thing, that US has undertaken a trade deal with India which has reduced the tariffs to 18%. All right. US also undertook a deal with Bangladesh, and Bangladesh in the global world order, is known for massive textile production. Okay, cotton and jute, they grow well in Bangladesh, and in Bangladesh, the reciprocal tariff has been reduced to 19%, which is just 1% higher than India. And also on Bangladesh textiles, they've received significant, zero tariff, significantly zero tariffs on Bangladesh textile exports. All right. So a lot of, textile traders, etc., they did, make a fuss over it and, asked the government, saying things like, we must also negotiate something like this. So our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, he said this, that India is also trying to negotiate on the same lines, that if India produces textiles from US imported cotton, okay, now you all know 2-3 days back again I had continuously flagged for you all that cotton, soya and maize or corn, these were the three things on which the import duties were significantly reduced, over which the agricultural sector was making a, major din that the Indian agriculture sector is going to be affected through this. All right. So he did say that we are trying to negotiate और India में कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं होगी farmers को हमारे. Now, because we are importing cotton as a raw material for Indian textiles from US, India is now trying to negotiate along same lines, that on all the textiles that India is going to manufacture from US imported cotton, zero tariffs should be brought to India's export in US also. Okay, so do go through this. It is an important article. All right. Then yesterday also this was there. Today also we have this. Now Tamil, Brahmi, Tamil, Sanskrit and Prakrit, these scripts have been found in Egyptian tombs. All right. And there have been certain names that have been found there. One is Sikai Quran. The name Sekai Quran is revealing, as its first element may be connected to Sanskrit Sikha, meaning tuft or crown. And second is more distinctly Tamil. All right. So these are certain words that have been found there, like Kopan, Varata, Kantan. All right. So these are there. We have a lot of Tamil, Sanskrit, Prakrit names that have been found in Egyptian tombs. Do go through this. Can be a probable question which could relate to the Indian classical languages of India. All three of them, Tamil, Sanskrit and Prakrit, all three of them are classical languages. All right. The provision of classical languages was included since the year 2004, and as of now we have 11 classical languages in India. All right. Tamil, Sanskrit have been classical languages since 2004, 2005, 6 consecutively, etc. Prakrit was included or made a classical language in the year 2024. Okay, so do keep that in mind. It's important. All right. Then another important piece of news, that we have 4 labor codes which were brought in by the government, and they in 2020, and they have been implemented 3 months ago. So these labor codes, they just seek to bring about a more welfarean approach towards the working classes in the country. Now there was another labor amongst these 4. There was one which is known as Industrial Relations Code Bill. Over this, an amendment has been brought in, and industrial relations simply seeks, the human capital sector of the industrial sector. That is, this industrial relation bill basically recognizes the right to form trade unions, social security, etc. Okay, so do go through this. It's an important article. Next is the Bodhan AI Conclave. So the Union Education Minister, the name of the minister is very important, Dharmendra Pradhan. He had inaugurated this Bodhan AI initiative or conclave. And what is this? This is established as a non-profit organization under Education Ministry to build an open source Bharat Edu AI stack to introduce artificial intelligence across all levels of education. Okay, this is an important initiative. This year we are hosting the AI Impact Summit. For relating to that, this is very important. Do keep in mind. All right. Then coming to the editorials for today, the first one is a very important article. Here, recently, the present Chief Justice of India, Justice Gawai, he has, undermined institutional identity, or he has basically given a verdict, or has removed the gender glossary, which is published every year, sort of. Okay, and what is this gender glossary? This gender glossary just basically seeks to keep together all the gender related cases, all right, so that in any case anybody would want to refer to any of the verdicts, victims, histories, anything, they could quickly do it. And this gender glossary was brought in by DY Chandrachud, and they basically say that the chief justices, they also have this tendency of undoing something that maybe the previous chief justice had done in the country, all right. And she's given a wonderful this thing, contrast, saying that why is it important to have this, so that gender justice could be ensured, and entries are made in this, to in an attempt to eliminate stereotyping and victim blaming, etc. And naturally this was intended along lines of fundamental rights, invoking Article 15 of the Constitution, and it is the duty of the justice system, the judicial system in the country, to ensure that gender justice is, undertaken and ensured in the country. All right. So good. You can go through this one also. Again, the same thing about the just 2-3 slides back that we did, that we had certain Brahmi, Sanskrit, Prakrit and Tamil inscriptions that were found in Egypt. So how, what is the relation between Egypt and Tamil, and how did trade actually begin between the two nations, etc. Wonderful piece. Then Vande Mataram with 6 stanzas and a settled question. Important, do go through this. Why is it important? Because the government has issued guidelines as to Vande Mataram. Okay. Now this article says that, what is the actual news about Vande Mataram is that previously we only used to sing two stanzas of Vande Mataram, originally written as 6 stanzas by Bankim Chand Chatterjee. And Vande Mataram this year is very important because we are celebrating 150 years of Vande Mataram. Now, the article basically says that although the government has said now that it is compulsory to sing all the 6 stanzas of Vande Mataram, and Vande Mataram will be included in each and every, formal event wherever national anthem is sung, even Vande Mataram will be sung with that. And Vande Mataram will be given the same respect as provided to the national anthem and the national flag under Article 51A of the Constitution. Okay. Now, till now, the term national song is not used under Article 51A of the Constitution. It only specifically mentions the national anthem and the national flag. All right. Now, the article basically says that there was a reason as to why national song firstly was adopted only with 2 stanzas, and why specifically the national song has been left out from as one of the important fundamental duties of the citizens in the country. Okay, so the article begins by saying that when it was called for adoption of the national song as the national song of India on 24th of January 1950, it was agreed to by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, by Rajendra Prasad, Jawaharlal Nehru, that we must only take the first 2 stanzas and not all of them. Why? Because we have portrayed ourselves, and we are a country who gives permission to each and every citizen in the country to practice, profess, propagate their own religion under the right to religion, which is a fundamental right under Article 23, under Article 25, 26. Okay, 25 to 28 talks about freedom of religion. The 25 specifically gives us this right that we can practice, profess our own religious beliefs and faith. All right. The stanzas which are specifically excluded relates to Hinduism, where due recognition has been given to the valor, brevity of goddess Durga, goddess Lakshmi, which maybe people belonging to other religions cannot relate to. Okay, and this was one major problem during the anti-partition movement dating back to 1905. It was during the anti-partition movement also where Hindus, they uh, took oaths in front of goddess Kali, tied Rakhi on each other's arms, which was naturally could not related to by the Muslims back then during the anti-partition movement. So we were just coming out of a bloody partition in 1947, and it was just 3 years since we gained independence. The entire tide of communal hatred had not mellowed down. So the forefathers, our forefathers, the framers of the constitution, they did not wish to further, give wind to the fire. So they purposefully excluded this. Now, if they are actually including this and making it a compulsion for children, students, people belonging to other religions to sing this, then naturally you are hindering that person's fundamental right under Article 25 of the Constitution. Okay, so this basically talks about the same thing, draws contrasts to Bijoy Emmanuel case, where it was about 3 children who would stay quiet when prayers related to Hinduism or any other when national song was also sung, or where prayers related to other religion was practiced in school. So these children, they were removed from the school. All right, where the High Court upheld the decision of the school that they must be removed and everything is fine, but the Supreme Court intervened and they said that this takes away the children's right under freedom of religion. All right, so wonderful article, important article, must be gone through. Okay, then the next is the Shanti Act. The Shanti Act has been brought in because the government seeks to invite private individuals into nuclear energy. Nuclear energy as of now very, very crucial for India, because India has 2-3 programs, 2-3 visions. One is to become Viksit Bharat by 2047. Okay, India seeks to become Viksit Bharat by 2047. Then last year, India launched National Nuclear Mission. Under the National Nuclear Mission, the government has even outlined around 20,000 crores of rupees, and under this, the government has this vision to harness 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy by 2047. Now, to do all of this, and also has a vision of setting up 5 small modular reactors by 2033. As of now, our capacity is only 8 gigawatt or megawatt, 8 megawatt. Okay, so all these things require lots of funds and money plus efficiency, and generally the government sector does not, has always witnessed inefficient work. So to promote efficiency, to promote private-public partnership, to promote funding, the government has opened the nuclear sector also, which till now is considered as a strategically important and plus a very volatile sector. Volatile sector in the sense that, it is something that maybe if not regulated effectively, if not monitored effectively, it can result in massive mishaps, which can be seen through the Chernobyl disaster of Ukraine, which can be seen through Hiroshima, Nagasaki bomb blasts. So naturally involving private players is fine, but then we must always look into the implications of it, that it may foster or increase mishaps in the country. All right, so this is what the article talks about, that how the government must do it, how significant is nuclear energy for India, what are various things that have happened previously. So it's a good article. Do go through this one. Another one which basically talks about India's present foreign policy stance and the global order, which is now shifting away from multilateralism. As we can see that now the global order is again resting on certain pillars, poles only. China, US, they keep on making the headlines. So it says that India must reframe its foreign policy to have a balanced relation with everybody and not to become a people's pleaser or a country or other countries pleaser. India must pose itself as the leader of the global south and bring about its own strategic autonomy, have relationships with all countries, to bring about its own development and betterment. Okay, so another good one. Then another one on the AI Impact Summit. The first article brings about all the loopholes, all the shortcomings that India's artificial intelligence sector has. And the second one draws attention to the fact that what all India can do and how is this going to prove so beneficial for India in the present times. All right. And this is actually very significant hosting the AI Impact Summit because India is the first country belonging to the Global South which is going to host this. Okay, global south simply implies developing countries which are not developed have still but do have good potential for development. Go through it, good one. Then quickly coming to the short ones, I just wanted to flag for you all that Manmohan Memorial lecture would be for the first time given by Angela Merkel, and the former Prime Minister's family set up a trust. The Manmohan Memorial is a trust which has been set up by the former Prime Minister's family at Rashtra Smriti Sthal. Okay, so do keep in mind. Okay, then another important one, DigiYatra to extend digital identity to foreign travel as well. As of now, DigiYatra, which is actually an application where you can bring in which aligns with the airport security. You can fill in your ticket details, etc. You don't have to get into lines to get your documents and tickets, etc. checked physically or manually. You can just stand in front of the kiosks and go inside. So now it is being extended. They're trying to extend it to international travel as well. Okay. All right. And this continuation of the same article that Angela Merkel, because she has had good relations with the family of Manmohan Singh, will be the first one to deliver a speech at the Dr. Manmohan Singh Trust. Okay. All right. Then today's World Radio Day, very important because on 13th of February 1946, the United Nations Radio delivered its or undertook its first radio broadcast. To commemorate that, today we celebrate 13th of February as World Radio Day, and also 13th of February is celebrated as National Women's Day. Okay, National Women's Day. And what is this National Women's Day? National Women's Day is celebrated to commemorate the birth anniversary of Sarojini Naidu. Okay. International Women's Day is on 8th of March. National Women's Day 13th of March. Okay. Then again, just one piece of news. Do keep in mind that Russia has confirmed to put a ban on WhatsApp. All right. Okay. Then now the Munich Security Conference is set to take place in Europe. Nothing as such important, just wanted to flag Munich Security Conference, which is a geopolitical conference of countries in Europe, and they undertake this to, discuss world global geopolitics. Why is it important? Because like this, we have two other forums. One is the Shangri-La Dialogue, which takes place in Singapore, and one is India's dialogue, which is known as the Raisena Dialogue, which takes place every year in the Raisena Hills, that is the Delhi capital region, in the month of April. Okay, so Raisena, Shangri-La, and Munich Security Conference, they're all conferences which bring together international countries to undertake major discussions on global geopolitics. Okay, and naturally geopolitics these days is centered around things like NATO, USA's entire takeover, Greenland, Russia-Ukraine war, etc. Okay. All right. Yesterday I had taken this up in detail. So just flagging it for you all that Brazilian President Lula da Silva is going to come to India for the AI Impact Summit, and then naturally he will also hold bilateral talks with the Prime Minister, and two basic agendas are on mind: energy and defense. Okay. Then Donald Trump again will pursue talks with Iran to see if deal is possible. He keeps on switching his stances. Sometimes he'll start criticizing. He'll say things like he's ready, US is ready to send an armada to Iran, and again one day later he will say again that he is ready to undertake talks with Iran. Okay, that was all for today's newspaper analysis, and I'll see you next. Okay, thank you.